Welcome to the 182nd episode of News Dump, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. I'm local man Aaron VanTuyl, joined by Chronicle executive editor Eric Schwartz, whilst photojournalist Cody Christen is shooting softball.
He's a shooter first and a podcaster second. That's what he said. And
he
just refuses to come.
Do you want to discuss his shooting style? Self-professed?
Yeah,
he's got some takes.
He and Ridley, our other photographer, are engaged in a nightly photo battle, as I believe we've mentioned before. Exclusive. There's only Aaron's not a voting member of the club.
I have not been invited, and I'm very kind of hurt by that,
and
really.
So they put forth one.
Hi, this is Chad Taylor, publisher of the Chronicle. And you know what? We support free speech here. You might hear some things that could offend you on the program you're about to listen to.
Which Cody, our local
I'm giving you warning right now. If you get offended easily, you might want to turn it off. You've been warned.
School
now have fun.
And on previous newspaper jobs, and he just likes to, quote, shoot cool shit. Or shit that looks cool to him.
I like that Cody claims his own photo style is like a gonzo style.
Hi, this is Chad Taylor, publisher of the Chronicle.
Man.
We support free speech here, like and you know what? You might hear some stuff that might offend you. Tough shit. If you don't like it, turn it off.
Your shots were all technically just
you might get offended.
And his were like, the guy's face on the Jumbotron
as
he's at bat.
Yeah.
But for like 6 or 7 players, he got that shot. Good shots, though.
Yeah, they're both great.
Shades of Nightcrawler in that boy.
Yeah, they sure are. We're also joined in spirit by sponsors Summit Funding, Chehalis Outfitters, and the Roof Doctor. We've got a new photo contest bit out of the way. Do you have any preambles we should discuss? We should mention that we are a day late. Yeah, we're several dollars short. After taking last week off late, you are on vacation.
I don't think anyone expected this. Number 2, I don't think they expected it. So we're right on. Vacation shame me.
I wasn't shaming you. I'm glad you got a much-needed rest down at the beach.
Living it up with other bureaucrats on Pebble Beach, huh?
There's a lot of bureaucrats down there, let me tell you what. For the half hour I was there for breakfast.
I bet.
Should we just get to the news?
Let's just get to the news.
Or should we mention how nothing. Yeah, we won't discuss any of the other reasons we're late. News items. First up. We believe in second chances. Green Hill staff members focus on rehabilitation. I have not read any of these stories.
Oh, boy. This is going to be a good one, then.
Yeah, you can just tell me what's going on with each one of them. What's happening to Green Hill?
Well, we've talked a lot about Green Hill, so we don't have to go all into that except to say that they have had a troubled time as far as keeping drugs out of the jail. A couple staff members committing crimes, whether it was introducing marijuana to the facility or pretty much allowing a prison riot to take place.
When you say introducing marijuana to the facility, it sounds like one of them just like, hey, have you guys heard about pot?
Bringing pot in inside.
Okay.
Overdoses, I think, are one of the main keys, too. A lot of fentanyl in there. Anyways, this was... we sent reporters Mitchell and Emily out there, and they did a series of stories. The one you've selected here was the second installment,
right,
last week. And basically, it was just give the state officials, Green Hill officials, an opportunity.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Because I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of.
Just kind of express what they think the problems are and why they think that they're doing better, which is essentially more security, checking more bags when they came in.
Okay.
Which was a little surprising to me prior to all this. I was trying to find it in her story. Actually, it's not going to be on this one. But they actually have like a randomizer type thing where, you can set it to you're going to check 70% of bags to 20, and then it goes off randomly.
Kind of like going through TSA security.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there's a good reason for it, but it did make me wonder, why not just check all the bags?
Yeah. Good question.
Maybe a staffing issue. Who knows?
Okay. Well, and that was Green Hill Corner. Next news item. Backlash continues over Thurston County hiring and resignation of a former Tacoma cop. Sheriff Derek Sanders will host a public meeting this week. Did he already host it? I feel like that already happened.
It is going on right now or within the hour.
He invited people to air their grievances about the decision to hire Christopher Burbank, a former Tacoma police officer who was acquitted in the murder trial of Manny Ellis while he was in police custody. It's not great when you explain a hire with, well, he was acquitted, as if beating a murder rap is a glowing endorsement for someone enforcing the law.
I mean, I don't think that's what Derek Sanders did in this case. He came out and said he made the wrong decision. And,
Yeah, but initially the response was, well, he was acquitted. Speaking of acquitted...
I think a lot of people still hold that opinion, though, by the way, Aaron. Maybe no one in your bubble, but some people do think the guy was acquitted.
Yeah, and that's really all that matters. He should be able to continue to do whatever he wants. Speaking of which, rest in peace, O.J. Simpson.
I knew that was coming.
Anyway, yeah, it was disappointing. Just like Derek Sanders has been very online and seems very... It seems like he's done a good job of reading the room up to this point, and then this photo came out.
His views have been in line with yours more often than a police officer, so you were very disappointed to see him have a differing take.
I was just disappointed that he didn't think it through. Like, oh, this will be fine. Like, nobody was going to be like, what are you doing?
I assumed he would just know that this backlash would be coming. It seems rather predictable due to just timing and everything else. But yeah, we'll see what he has to say about it. That'll be up on Cronline at some point tomorrow. Emily is there, and she's probably going to have a little video as well, and it'll be good.
All right. Next item, Chehalis City Manager candidates undergo final interviews. First comment on this. The lead photo, our boy Stacey Denham went into the interviews dressed like Sonny Crockett, just dripping like a leaky faucet. Oh, man. He looked great. I was proud of him.
He did look good.
What's the latest on that?
I have not heard of development. I don't think that they have announced it yet. Owen thought that this week it would happen. He also thought there was a good chance it could happen last week, Owen being our reporter.
Okay.
But yeah, there's just the two candidates, and their third option is essentially to start from scratch and just ask for more applicants. They're a little reluctant to do that, though, because there's so many city manager openings right now to compete with, including in Centralia, which we all know as the finer of the Twin Cities.
Clearly. 3 finalists were initially selected by Chehalis. Jeffrey Wilson, not Jeff. Oh, I accidentally brought a gun with me.
So no, not the lawmaker.
This is a different Jeff Wilson.
I think it's a different one. Common
Peter Boyce is the other candidate, along with Denham, who remains. Boyce has about 25 years of experience in local government, most recently as a Woodland city administrator, which he's been doing for the last 7 years. There was some comments online when these finalists were announced that how do you go from being a police chief to a city manager? And isn't that what Bob Berg did, or did he go the other way?
No, I don't think that Bob Berg did. If he did, I might have completely forgotten.
I thought Bob Berg was a city manager. At one point.
There is precedent for it, though. I mean, Yelm, in Yelm, the police chief, when I was out there, 5 years ago or so, he's now the city manager there as well. So I do think it's a thing that happens.
Not unheard of, but I'm sure Chehalis will make a good decision. They typically do.
Wow, what a hat tip to Chehalis. Shout out to Daryl Lund.
Yeah.
We're doing that.
Next item, you got anything else?
No, not on that. I told you I wasn't going to be very talkative. I got a whole lot of opinions.
Health Advisory Board largely votes against series of amendments to needle exchange ordinance. Our pal Jamie Lund shaved for this photo op. He looked good.
Ran a hell of a meeting, let me tell you. I even messaged you that during.
Yeah, you were like, he's just.
Well, after he was in here and he explained to us what he thinks his role is, I just saw him as a quarterback out there. He looked like Tom Brady, just dealing from the pocket.
Just a real game manager, steady hand.
Yep, just doing it.
So the advisory board picked up on one of Lindsay Pollock's recommendations for this, but let's be honest, the commissioners don't really have a history of listening to their advisory boards unless they're waving money in their faces in the form of a 10% raise. So the commissioners are probably going to adopt this and will almost immediately be hit with yet another lawsuit or two. This is the ordinance reining in what needle exchanges, and by needle exchanges, we specifically mean the one needle exchange that Gather Church runs.
Right, currently that's it. I mean, when that has come up in the discussions, it's more that you should look ahead into what services could come to the county in the future and build policy around that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are folks who think that Gather Church is being targeted on this one.
This means us taxpayers will be on the hook for a vanity ordinance from Sean Swope to remind everyone that he's all for putting public health in jeopardy, literally at our expense, as long as he gets to claim Christian superiority over Gather Church. The accountability here is almost too much to bear.
Well, that's your take, Aaron.
It must be nice to
go to the meeting. You should go to the meeting. And
some of us have jobs to go to.
It's like it'd be impossible for you to sneak away for a meeting. Yeah.
It would be, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It must be nice.
It's 10 a.m. Tuesday, though, by the way.
It must be nice to just go out there and have your legal representation be like, hey, if you do this, we're probably going to get sued. And be like, it's too important not to do it. We'll risk yet another lawsuit. I would like to get an accounting of how much the county has spent defending itself against lawsuits from.
That would be good to know. I agree.
It's got to be what? Close to 7 figures?
I mean,
and that's not even counting the payouts.
Just for the legal expenses, you're saying?
Yeah, lawyers don't. I don't know. A hot take here: lawyers expensive. I've been told.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know what level of specialists they use or anything like that, but the county does employ lawyers as well.
Yeah, but think what those lawyers could be doing if they weren't, playing defense all the time. Also, do you think at this point, groups like the ACLU, basically civil rights litigators and such, just have like a Google alert for Lewis County ordinance, and every time one of them pops up, they just crack their knuckles and be like, "My kid's getting new shoes."
I don't think so. No.
I don't know.
Just to answer your question, I don't think so.
I don't know. It would be interesting to ask one of them. After the good news with all this is that, like the county lawyers defending them, it probably doesn't cost as much as it would because these cases are typically the ones we've seen so far are over very quickly.
Well, we'll see. We will absolutely have a reporter there. There
was not much suspense in that YMCA lawsuit.
No, there wasn't in that one. I agree with you there. Mostly because we got the opinion before it was published. So there's really no surprise on that one.
No. Anyway, that's what's going on with the commissioners for now. Next news item. Port of Centralia director, who is that? Do you know that
It's
fellow?
Kyle Heaton.
Says WinCo hopes to begin construction at Centralia Station by the end of the month.
Hell yeah.
Any day now.
You still think that that's not happening, right? Is that still your take?
Any day now. I will believe WinCo is there when it asks me to leave for
questioning
whatever reason.
Being a Centralia WinCo truther.
I'm going to be standing outside with a billboard that says WinCo isn't real as people are walking in. I'll be like, it's a trap.
So your theory is the Port of Centralia built out all that infrastructure and then it was like a hat over the fence thing. They were like, come on, WinCo's coming. If we keep doing this, they'll come.
You're gonna walk to WinCo and you're gonna go through the doors and you're immediately gonna fall down a slide and the slide will kick you out right in front of Walmart.
Oh, that'd be rough.
No, I'm glad that WinCo is finally coming after all these years. It's been what, a decade?
Yeah.
We've been talking about this forever.
We'll see what it does to traffic and such.
I mean, the traffic's already kind of set up.
I like a
little roundabout there.
I gotta take a former columnist Bill Moeller's, once quarterly. There's too much traffic out there. Remember when there was less traffic column?
Yeah, well, there was less people at one point too.
Yeah. Do you remember those days?
Yeah, I do. They were great. Next news item, or do you want to talk about WinCo a little more?
No, I mean, one thing WinCo could do if it's a wise company is when it's putting the giant roof on top of its giant supercenter. They could give the roof doctor a call.
You think the roof doctor does commercial buildings?
I do not, but they would be able to find out if they gave them a call, and I think you know the number.
The number is locally 360-736-0246. You can also call them at 360-499-0064. The roof doctor has been a family-owned business in Lewis County since 1957, I think.
59, I believe.
59.
Mm-hmm.
New roofing and re-roofing, roof repair, roof cleaning, and emergency roofing. You never know when you're going to need that.
It's true.
Visit theroofdoctor.com to learn more. And just remember, they will always provide a free estimate.
Mm-hmm. And the first roof is on the house.
That's right. And if you use code News Dump, second roof is 50% off.
No, that's not true. The roof will be on the house, though.
Yeah, literally.
The first one.
Next item. Lewis County Director of Fluff. Meet Clyde, the Lewis County Veteran Service Office's new therapy dog in training. What a good boy.
Oh, he is a good boy.
Fluffy little fella.
Owen wrote this one up. It'll be in Saturday's paper. It's already up on Cronline. But Clyde was posted on the Lewis County Animal Shelter Facebook page, which I get a lot of posts from them, in January, along with his mother, rescued as a stray in Toledo. And now, he shows up at the Veterans Memorial Museum once a week and just does it. Does the fluff.
He's a Great Pyrenees and Poodle mix, it looks like.
Guess he's just naturally super calm, has a really relaxed disposition.
Great poise in the pocket.
Great poise in the pocket. Just an overall a good dog. We just noticed him on an assignment out in Randall, and he does wear a name tag with his face on it and director of Fluff as the title, and thought it was fun. So we figured we'd go ask about the dog, and everybody was happy to talk about the dog.
In one of the photos, he is being held by Lewis County Food Program Environmental Health Specialist Jacob Cleary, which makes me feel old. I remember covering Jacob Cleary playing baseball at Chehalis.
Now he's out there carrying dogs.
Now he's got a real job.
One note in the story I found interesting is that one veteran who was at the museum when Owen stopped by, Mike Cheek, said he offered to pay $1,000 to buy Clyde for himself and was denied.
Wow.
Yeah, he said he had, let's see, he had his last dog died, and he said he would never have another dog, but I would have this dog, he said.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd have to go meet this dog.
What's the guy's name? Mike Cheeks?
Mike Cheek.
Mike Cheek. Mike Cheeks, that was the name you used for some clandestine late night work back in the day, if I remember correctly.
Man. Lowbrow.
Next item. State and local officials eye indoor horse arena at the Southwest Washington Fairgrounds. Thank God, something all of us can use.
You know what? I think it'd be great to have. I think it'd be a great improvement to the fairgrounds.
You gonna get a horse?
If you could hold more events there, imagine it would draw in revenue. There's a lot of horse people in Southwest Washington, and that's people that have horses, not
half horse. Those are centaurs.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes. Clear. I just wanted to clear that up.
When completed, the officials said a 180-foot by 240-foot covered equestrian center would serve as the centerpiece of a project to help revitalize the fairgrounds. This critic says, why don't you just get us a good concert in the summer? That's all we wanted.
Projects? Why? Oh, so you don't want a horse arena that can serve many generations. You just want Weird Al to come back once?
Bring in Foreigner, man.
Did Foreigner play the fairgrounds?
I feel like Foreigners played the fairgrounds. Yeah, because that was
Joe
like...
and Jet played the fairgrounds.
They've had some big names in there. Willie Nelson played there, you know.
None bigger than Weird Al. That day changed Lewis County.
Yeah, indeed it did.
Really did. I was on deadline. I could not attend that concert. Affects me deeply.
Peter Abarno secured $206,000 in the capital supplemental budget toward a site-specific study, planning, design, and engineering of a covered equestrian center. So that's coming along. Peter just looked like he's auditioning for the next season of Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman in this photo.
You just got to comment on everyone's appearance.
I didn't write any notes, so I'm just freestyling on a picture.
That's why. Oh, boy. Yeah, and this is a ways out. This is kind of like the first big step for it, I would say. But no, I think that would be a great addition over there.
Yeah,
give that horse area some love.
Sure. Because there's one thing we lack around here. It's equestrian centers.
It's true.
I mean, we've got like a 1-to-1 ratio between horses and equestrian centers.
Originally the Northwest Sports Hub funding was going to go for a regional equestrian facility, if you recall.
Yeah.
I was a reporter at that time. I went and looked at many locations where they were going to put this horse thing, wrote a lot about it, and then they never had a horse thing.
And then somehow at some point somebody was like, hey, what about the fairgrounds where we already put horses every year?
A good idea. It's not a bad idea. What performer would you have come to the fair, though, if you could pick? If you had your pick.
Any performer?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Jeezy? Wheezy?
Midland, probably.
Really?
I think they'd be a big one, yeah. Man. I like Midland. Jeezy? If it's going to be a rapper, I went Too Short, obviously.
Oh, I think we could agree on Too Short.
That'd be a blast. I don't think it would be well attended.
You know, Tech Nine, I could see him pulling something like that.
I'm surprised he hasn't played
Tech Nine
in Lewis County before.
Yeah, that would. I wouldn't not believe that headline if I saw it. He's a man of the people. I've
told this story before, but years ago, my buddy Brooks and I were leaving. I went over to cover state baseball in Yakima. And as the game was wrapping up, we're walking through the parking lot. And the baseball field, it's Yakima County Stadium, and it's across the parking lot from the Sun Dome. And there's a big sign out that said the Sun Dome that's appearing tonight, Tech Nine. And he's like, oh, you want to go check Tech Nine tonight? It's like, I don't think we better.
I've seen it. You should have. You made a mistake.
Next news item. You ready for this one? PL hires Brandon Svensson as new town marshal. Winlock Mayor says he will step down as chair of the Lewis County Republican Party. And I mentioned this the other day, but this is truly just a phenomenal endorsement of the current administration in the country. Even Brandon Svensson was able to go out there and get a real job. I hope he writes a thank you card to Joe Biden.
He is going to step down as the chair of the Lewis County Republican Party to take this position, but I believe remain mayor of Winlock.
Okay. It is a full-time position.
Yep, $60,000 per year. We did have to make a correction and clarification. At first, we were told by a city official that he was the only applicant, and then it turned out there were a couple other applicants, but this was the one they wanted to go forward with.
Okay. And he did learn under Roger Morningstar, correct?
I believe he did spend some time with Roger Morningstar, out there in Morton.
The photo is him in Morton.
Yeah, and then Morton had a contract with PL for police services for a while, which you also didn't think made sense, and probably did make sense.
Oh, I don't think it did.
And then the sheriff's office was covering them for a while, and so now they'll have their own lawman, which I spent some time telling you how I would do that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang out downtown with a gun.
Yep.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, if you're the town marshal, you just saunter. You just go out on a saunter.
Are town marshals like they do everything? They solve crimes? Or they just kind of settle disputes and be like,
I think it's a little more in that vein, but also, they're law enforcement officers. So,
all right.
I think I remember reading that he's putting himself through the academy as well, but I don't recall that exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's a thing.
PL, they have police for the first time since 2020. Well, that was their last marshal.
Yeah.
Okay. Chehalis City Council, and our next item, moves to raise fees for park usage, various city services, and public records requests. I feel like the last one's a direct shot at you. You've been making a lot of requests over there?
No. Just the usual amount. Yeah, this is an exhaustive list of every fee that's going up that Owen put together after attending the Monday meeting.
You have to put a 10% deposit down for any records request estimated to cost more than $25. $250?
I don't know. I think everything costs more, so eventually fees go up. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate the transparency and that we got this big full list. I'm sure other jurisdictions have also had to increase prices on things, but maybe that's not something you scream from the rooftops.
Yeah, probably not. Any other news items you want to hit?
We'll just do a run through at the end. Did we? I think we already talked about that. No, that's it.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff and Julie from Fairway Lanes.
Jeff and I met Jasic of Summit Funding at our bowling center, so when we fell in love with this community and it was time to relocate, we knew we would be calling Summit Funding.
They understand that everyone has a unique situation when buying a home.
He had already helped 2 of our employees get into their own homes. The Summit Funding team exceeded our expectations. It was a seamless experience with great communication from his whole team.
Thank you to Summit Funding for making our buying experience special and memorable.
All right, we're back. It's time for segments. First up, Tales from the Takes page. What's going on the opinion page?
Oh, you just asked me that. I thought you had some notes.
I have one. I'll hit the first one.
We had a full sheet of letters yesterday, which I know you love the letters.
I do.
You love to admonish everyone for their
Why don't
views.
you read one and then I will pull up the page and just go to town on what.
Like read an entire letter to the editor.
Letter to the editor. Do we want to continue along the same path we've been going down for 4 years? What do you? Okay. Like what? You think we're just going to do a U-turn? Is that what's going to happen?
It's about the election, you know.
Oh, is that what it was about? I thought maybe they're just a bad driver.
I can't turn around.
Letter to the editor. State doesn't provide enough funding. Support Toledo levy. That's probably good.
This one, you can go read it for yourself. I really couldn't understand what the overall arching point was on notify proper authorities in unfortunate instances. It was very vague.
Yeah, I'm getting to that too. What are they talking about?
Nothing, really. Just when something unfortunate happens, you should find the proper person to report it to.
Yeah, your insurance agent.
Exactly. And then we had proposed ordinance threatens successful life-saving outreach on the topic we discussed earlier. A nice letter on the Chehalis River Basin.
What is WDYD?
Land Trust. Why do you do what you do?
I hate that.
Why?
I just hate any of these, like...
Because you have no purpose?
No, these acronyms, that's a feature, not a bug. Any acronyms like that just drive me up. Like when... This really bothered me.
What would Jesus do?
No, I didn't mind that one. Nobody uses that anymore either. Especially the people you'd think should be using it.
It's primed for a comeback.
Yeah. No, I'd always see these kids playing high school ball and their teams would have like acronyms for like their team mottos and all that. And it was like, oh, we can't talk about it. It's a secret. It's like, what are you talking about? It's just a jumble of letters in the back of your shirt. Why?
Yeah, we had those too. I had RTD,
I bet they did.
Return to Dominance.
Oh, yeah? Did you guys return to dominance?
Quarterfinals.
No. Anytime somebody
we were in the
something,
conversation, sir.
Anytime somebody posts something with, like, if you know, the acronym for that, it's just like, shut up. Just tell people what it is. Why are you posting a picture of it then? If you want to keep your secrets.
You're just mad you don't know.
I do know. That's the problem.
She said what the acronym stood for in the letter, so
just spell it out.
I do despise. I despise them in general. Like, if you don't immediately know what the acronym is, I don't feel like you should be able to use it.
Yeah,
that's my rule.
Letter to the editor. New bridge over Chehalis River, ? Fix or replace existing spans first. Yeah, what if a tanker hits it?
This is Tony Kristen, and this is his second letter in a month on this very topic. So
he really hit the timing right on that first one, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he probably felt the support from his take, which is that the State Route 6 bridge in Chehalis needs to be replaced before we have anything new anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be replaced, Aaron, so you can get to Adna.
Julie McDonald, professor, talks about using AI to recreate deceased loved ones. Well, if you had your way, you'd be recreating O.J. Simpson right now.
That's awful. Yeah, that was a fun column. It was a really long column, but it was good. She attended a presentation from a researcher in this field, and yeah, it was kind of a little trippy conversation there. The speaker worries that at some point some people could become so obsessed with conversing with dead relatives through these types of programs that will develop that they'll just limit their actual human interactions.
What do we?
I'm just telling you what was in there. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it.
Here we go. We're getting to the meat and potatoes. Letter to the editor. Chronicle doesn't support local teams. Yeah. Why is your sports section so terrible? Just never covering anything. Why, just yesterday, I saw that your reporters only covered 2 games and took photos themselves in person. Well, you had 2 photographers staffing a high school girls golf match.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to get all the local athletes, Aaron. It's very important to us. Yeah, this letter, entitled to your opinion. I'm pretty sure this is subscribers, so they can say whatever the heck they want.
Sure.
Doesn't mind.
They must be if they saw this large picture in the actual paper, which I laid out.
Yes, you did. Yeah, there's for anyone who was confused by it, there is a contingent of locals who do not think that we should be covering Tumwater. Specifically, also Black Hills gets thrown in there from time to time. And as a reminder, we started covering them because they're a lot closer to us than many of the teams we were already covering. Plus, we run into them all the time as they play Centralia, Chehalis, and Rochester.
Yeah.
So there was really no reason not to extend coverage and at the time, extend resources as well. And, yeah, we like covering Tumwater, and we try to be fair about it. But, I don't know, with like a 3.5 or 4-person sports team, it's really difficult to cover 18 teams. Great in a way that will not elicit some sort of criticism.
And also, rare is the day that a Tumwater gamer or results or photo will be on the front page in the prime position above something more traditionally local.
Yes,
your WFS, your Centralias, and whatnot. And in this situation, Tumwater won the match 5-1.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good photo, too. I think it was the photographer's higher rated photo.
So that is also probably the only time a picture of a Tumwater tennis player will be in the newspaper this spring. Not to knock Tumwater or anything, just how these things work out.
It's letters to the editor work. Now you know. Aaron's a coward if you call him out on the opinion page. Just mention it on main 6.
Also, just statistically speaking, if tennis is being played, that means the weather is nice. And if the weather is nice, that means there's makeup baseball, softball games going on.
Mm-hmm.
And those are... They get more eyes on them. The gamers do, the photos do, everything else. Just because there's more kids on a baseball and softball team than on a tennis team.
Mm-hmm.
Varsity tennis team has 9 people. Varsity baseball team will have many more than that, depending on your substitutions and whatnot. So it's a higher traffic item. Anyway, we'd like to get every team shot at least once. And this time it just happened that was the best photo and it worked out the best. And what are you going to do?
God, defensive over here.
Well, look,
defend your coverage, sir.
I've heard this bullshit for 10 years. Why'd you take that photo?
Yeah, no, but don't call it bullshit. I feel like they're entitled to it.
One time a lady called me sitting at my desk, and she's like, why do you only run photos of this one kid for the Centralia football team? And I was like, well, that one kid he's their running back. And
it's really hard.
Top running back and their top receiver, and they throw the ball twice a game. what do you, and so I tried to explain it to her, and she's like, I don't want to listen to that, and just hung up on me. It's like, well, all right, lady.
I would just like, the internet gives us a lot more ability to feature more than one or two photos, obviously, and every item that you see in the paper, especially these days with Ridley and Cody, probably have at least 20 to 50 photos filed of that sporting event at cronline.com, so you can go look at all the other photos as well.
I also
Again, though, she has the story right. This is the letter writer's right.
I also like the Facebook comments that are essentially like, why isn't this a story about something else? Like, you could just scroll up or down and you will hit what you want. It's there. I promise you.
I appreciated the one comment on that letter, though, online. It was like the first comment where the person was like, great, so she complains about your coverage, and you shame her online. I was like, this is a letter to the editor. This is our shame. Yes. We're shaming ourselves.
Hi, this is Jasek from Summit Funding. Here's what a recent client is saying about us.
Hi, this is Chad Taylor. Have you been thinking about purchasing or refinancing your current home? The team at Summit Funding is the best in class. Looking for a conventional FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, or even a reverse mortgage? Trust the team at Summit Funding. Corley and I did, and we couldn't be happier.
Thank you to all of our past clients. If you have any questions, give us a call at 360-330-4037.
It's a great name. It's like, what are we about here? Well, we like animals.
It's like one of those tournaments. The planning for the name stopped as soon as they had the idea of having it. Like, yeah. No, it's good. It was good.
It's great.
That was a Chris Thomas joint, by the way. He sent over that news release, and it was very lightly edited for publication.
Oh, he does a great job.
He does.
It was the 4th annual tournament. It was split equally between the Providence Regional Cancer Center and Red Rose Animal Rescue in Rochester. They're going to have a 2-day tournament next year.
My entry for Hero of the Week is Brody Hamilton, who was celebrated today in Onalaska about 11 a.m. Got an escort from the Lewis County Fire District 1. Rode in the back of a pickup truck with his mother after returning from treatment for a brain tumor at Seattle Children's Hospital. And then so they held this big welcome back rally today, I guess. And then he went inside the school. Ridley hung out with them the entire time, took some really good photos that are all up on cronline.com right now, and along with some ways to help support the family if you are so inclined.
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw Fluff in there as well, Clyde.
He is a hero.
Clyde is a very smooth dog. He deserves mention.
Next item, next segment, Sirens Banger of the Week. I'm going to skip the one I've got in there and go straight to this alcohol violation from April 9th. Minors were reportedly drinking at a baseball field in the 200 block of Southwest 13th Street just before 4:30, but drinking before 5 o'clock. Oh, that was on a Saturday, though.
If I'm not mistaken,
that was on a Tuesday.
That's a reoccurring call in the call logs where somebody who lives within eye shot of that park has been reporting on these hooligans for quite some time.
The reporting party told the dispatcher he was, quote, called by Prosecutor Meyer telling him of this. What?
I don't know.
Jonathan Meyer out here just busting children for drinking in a park?
Said something that was said on the scanner.
That doesn't sound. I think he's got more important things to do. I don't think he'd lower himself to that.
I did enjoy it. At one point, there was a report that there was youths at the park listening to hip-hop music.
How dare they? Another one, a man who, quote, was saying something about being cold or frostbite or something, and who, quote, just looked like he was cold trying to get out of the weather, reportedly knocked on the doors of multiple residences on South Market Boulevard at 1:50 a.m. Just go get the guy a blanket. That's all I got for Sirens Banger of the Week.
Well, in honor of that terrible Sirens Banger of the Week, can we talk about Chehalis Outfitters a little bit?
We sure can.
Can we talk about the fact that we were going to talk to Kelly Erb, their store manager, today, but you couldn't figure out how to turn the lights on and
the power was a power outage. Here again.
Declared a power outage, and then somebody came on in and just turned the lights on, and it worked just fine.
I think he threw the breaker first, trying to make me look like a fool.
Kelly says she'll try her best to join us next week if we can figure out how to turn the lights on in here, but that requested that we talk about the gardening event that is coming up on Saturday from 10 to 4, where customers can come purchase a planter and plants, and the good staff at Chehalis Outfitters will help them plant it. They'll provide the tools, dirt, and knowledge for what could make a great gift for Mother's Day.
That sounds great.
She specifically notes if they started it now, the plants were growing until Mother's Day. That would be a good Mother's Day gift. If you're not good with plants, it might not be the best to get your gift this early. They've also had a huge remodel in their clothing side. If you haven't been there in a little while, you're going to want to go in and have a look at the new threads. And when she's here next week, she says she's going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. I think we should carve out an entire Chehalis Outfitters segment for next week.
All right, sure.
I'm going to look for news items that can be directly related to Chehalis Outfitters. That's what we're going to do.
Great. Do you want to do some Facebook comments of the week?
I never do, and you always go through them anyways.
I actually haven't got any real good ones on here.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I'm giving it a quick scroll now.
You're doing this in real time?
I'm doing this whole thing in real time.
Oh, boy.
I don't have a lot. Yeah, I think that's probably going to do it. Oh, wait, here we go. On a reshare of the State Patrol's photos of some dogs, Warren McLeod says, I'll take 4-legged partners over 2 anytime.
Warren McLeod.
You know what? He's still got the heat.
He never misses.
Yeah. Not ever.
Never.
All right. Yeah, I don't have anything else. What else do we miss in the news section?
We didn't talk about the baby that was born on the way to Providence Centralia Hospital on April 1st.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good story. It was a couple from out in Mossy Rock, as I pull it open here. Callista and Tommy Rip were on their way to Olympia, where they were going to have their newborn at Capital Medical Center. Somewhere on the way, they were like, there's no way we're going to make it that far. And then she ended up having their baby, Matthew Morgan, somewhere in the vicinity of the Chehalis River Bridge over there by where the Mellon Street police facility is.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wanted to thank the staff at Providence for the treatment and talking with her husband over the phone and coordinating everything and getting her back into the hospital and treated. And yeah, it was good.
All right.
The boy is named in honor of former Mossy Rock Fire Chief Matt Hadler III, who died in 2011.
Okay.
But
that's nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun story. Let me back it up here, see what else we got. So much good stuff.
Chehalis City Council.
There was a fun one out of the Daily News. Headline: sales at Cowlitz County Gun Shop skyrocket after brief window opens to buy higher capacity magazines. So I'm sure you know about this, but late last week, a Cowlitz judge ruled the ban on high-capacity magazines to be something worth further consideration, thereby dropping it for, 30 minutes? 88 minutes. So for 88 minutes at Kelso's Gators Custom Guns, you could get yourself a magazine. So how many did you get, Aaron? How many did you pick up?
I was down there immediately. I knew it was happening. I bought them all up, and I'm going to resell them to Chad later.
I wondered, there was coverage ahead of time about how there might be a brief window, and I was like, I don't think that's how it works. And sure enough, that's how it works, because it took 88 minutes for the Supreme Court to be like, we'd like to discuss this further.
We're gonna need a second look at this one.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully he cleared his inventory.
Oh, Kyle Kinane is playing at the Chehalis Theater tomorrow night.
We both brought up news items
We did.
at the behest of Gabe, who played us against each other.
Duped us good.
It was good.
Jill Anderson, Chehalis city manager, retired. That's who those fellas are trying to replace.
Yeah, that is.
And Nicole Stanhope is the new finance director.
That is correct.
Antonio Campos was honored by the Centralia City Council
with an Outstanding Citizen Achievement Award, which I think that's something this podcast should one day hope to obtain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right across the street, so.
We should just go over there until they give us one. Like, will you guys go away? Stop live podcasting from the back of our meeting.
I still think this is
We're discussing the pool.
The celebration tour has been wonderful. He also did the county commissioners, and then, I feel like there was something else, too. Yeah. I like following the championship fervor until it completely dissolves into adult life.
Did any of the commissioners put on a singlet and try to wrestle him?
No, that would have been awesome. Cameron McGee, counselor for Centralia or somebody. Mark Wesley.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It should, yeah.
I think that we should invite him here for you to wrestle.
He would destroy me.
Yeah, well.
Not the wrestling type.
I did enjoy it. Like, Owen wrote a little story on it, and they asked him what it was like, and he was talking about how in the semifinals, once he won that, he knew he had pretty much won it because he wasn't worried about the last guy.
Hell yeah.
Just like seeing the last guy just open up, oh, look, this guy I wrestled, and click on it. It's like, oh, he wasn't worried about me at all.
It was a tough match. Oh, Jim Walsh has got some business going.
Yeah, a couple more initiatives. Is that the one you're looking at?
Yeah, here we go.
The initiatives thing.
What are his initiatives?
Go read it on Cronline. I'm not going to spoil.
Is it that everybody around him gets earplugs so they can stand him shouting?
I know the Democrats accused him of they're just trying to create buzz to send more Republicans to the polls, and he was insulted by that suggestion within the story.
I'm sure he's insulted by everything.
No, he did have an interesting post. I thought it was interesting of just the front page of the Seattle Times this morning, and everything above the fold except for a sports story had something to do with the Republicans. There was the unconstitutional ruling on the ban. The initiatives were up there. Oh man, I can't remember the other. But he declared the front page a win for the day. Most days, this might surprise you, but Jim Walsh is not the biggest fan of the Seattle Times.
Yeah. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Speechless. We didn't talk about Lauren Culp calling everybody a bitch.
Yeah, and then those
the stupidest news story.
Those liberal wussies at the State Police Chief and Sheriff's Association gave in the boot because they can't handle the truth.
Those woke constitutional sheriffs. Yeah, that was fun. He got into a Twitter tiff with who? Brandy Cruz, the podcaster.
Yeah, famously liberal Brandy Cruz. Yeah.
Travis Couture, the lawmaker, Republican lawmaker. Mm-hmm. And then who was the other one? Ozzie Knisevich, the former Spokane County sheriff, I believe. All had harsh words for him, and he just responded just like a mature former gubernatorial candidate would. He called them bitches and reminded them that his last election was stolen by 500,000 votes.
Yeah, just like the City Republic stole his job.
In all seriousness, that was all over the Reichert v. Byrd thing. Culp is firmly Byrd, and
you don't say.
According to Lauren Culp, I don't know if you knew this. I had to look it up. Could not find it. But Dave Reichert is a socialist.
Well, yeah. I mean, he sees Semi-Bird losing his gun, allegedly. He's like, I like the cut of this guy's jib. Irresponsible lawman, sign me up.
The first time I heard I liked the cut of this man's jib was a guy in Wahkiakum County who emailed to ask if he could write a letter to the editor because he likes the cut of our jib.
Hell yeah.
I had to look it up.
A sailing fella.
Yeah.
What else do we got? I think that's about it.
Yeah, there's Adna Grocery raised $5,000 for Adna football program, and then at the upcoming Sausage Fest in Adna, which I know you won't be missing, they're going to be running a fundraiser for girls' basketball team program. So spreading it around the district there.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's see what else. We had Joe Kent endorsing Jamie Herrera Butler's bid for Commissioner of Public Lands.
Somebody told him that's a woman?
It was just odd to get that one. He obviously was highly critical of her during her time as a congresswoman after her vote to impeach Donald Trump. So I don't know. That was one of those letters releases we got where I wasn't sure if it was real for a while, and then their campaign called and confirmed it was real. And all right, we'll run with it.
Another hot piece of news from last week: International Mermaid Festival begins in Grays Harbor County.
Yeah, that's a 2-week festival, sir. You got another chance. Yeah. They got actual mermaids there. Have you ever been to a mermaid festival? Real mermaids, Aaron.
Not this kind.
But they've got them. Half fish, half attractive woman. They've got them.
The mermaid festival and the horse people meet up, and buddy, you gotta.
They did have. They do have tanks where they float down in there, and you can look at them through glass and wave at you and stuff.
Oh,
yeah. So you know they're real mermaids because if they weren't, they wouldn't be able to do that. I went to the Mermaid Festival in Yelm where there was no standing body of water, and I'm gonna tell you, it was a little weird, man.
Were they walking?
It was kind of set up in stations all around the park where you could walk up and there'd be kind of a mermaid splayed out there.
Yeah. I'm not gonna tell you what that sounds like, but you can imagine.
They'd be selling their wares, and you should check it out. No, T-shirts and shell items, beach-related type stuff. I don't know. They were all very nice. It was a rich culture in the mermaids,
All right.
Oakville Blob Phenomena back. It was on Netflix in their new Unexplained, Files of the Unexplained show.
Yeah.
And this would be from, was it the 90s? I think it was the early 90s when a mysterious blobby type substance came with a rainstorm. A lot of people thought that they were sick because of it, and no one ever really figured out what it was from. 1994.
Interesting. Translucent gelatinous blobs.
You've never heard about the blobs?
Each about half the size of... They're only half the size of a rice grain. That's just water.
They were little blobs. Nice.
It was sleet.
Well, it pops up for coverage like all the time. Just some random news outlet wants to write about it, and we get it. So there's that. What I did like about this story that was from the Tri-City Herald, I think more so from like McClatchy, is then they listed out like the other mysteries in Washington. Yeah. Such as the feet found on Salish Sea beaches. That one always weirds me out.
Yeah.
Like you just find a foot every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
They did Washington's many Bigfoot sightings, which we've deeply reported on here.
Of course.
Theories of Prosser's Gravity Hill, which I had never heard of before. But if you drive up to the bottom of the hill, then put your car in neutral, you are naturally pulled to the top of the hill.
Oh, yeah, I have heard of that.
I'd like to try that one out. Mima Mounds.
The flat earthers are furious. I don't get why the Mima Mounds is such a big deal.
Nobody knows what they are, right?
I mean, it's just dirt.
But mounds of dirt. It looks weird. I don't know why it's there.
People seen sand dunes?
And then I didn't read this one, but does Mel's Hole exist? Is another of the subheads here.
Don't talk about Mel like that.
And then Washington hotbed for UFO sightings. So it's a good story. There's lots more on Cronline, but I could keep going because we've missed
there's pictures of these gelatinous blobs. Yeah, that's totally not sleet.
Well, the theories were all like, from an airplane, possibly.
It's the Joe Dirt.
It could be.
We call that a Boeing bomb.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, I don't know. Lots of notes. That's probably good enough. That'll suffice.
All right. In closing, we're sponsored by Summit Funding, Chehalis Outfitters, and the Roof Doctor. Leave a review or rating on Apple Podcast if you want, or send us an email, chroniclenewsdump@gmail.com. I believe that's it. We got some new tire pile photos in the other day. And did you ever get that? Those listeners, their subscriptions?
You got to get me the information.
I have sent you the info several times.
You need to send it properly through work channels.
Listeners, if you have been promised a subscription and Eric Schwartz has not delivered, send me another email at chroniclenewsdump@gmail.com explaining how it has affected your family and your own personal well-being. And I will read it aloud on this very podcast next week. Thank you. Good evening.